Katie Jones, you look so happy right now.
Why? Because I actually have my own mic in my hand.
I know. We're going to address that in a second. But...
Actually, what I'd like to address first, which I didn't tell you about.
Oh. I like how sometimes we started off with things that we haven't told each other.
I know. So anyone that's listening can still hear that my voice is a little raspy.
Oh no, here we go.
Because I caught my friend's laryngitis last week and Ryan didn't believe me. But I'm happy that I still have a bit of a lost voice so that he can believe. Do you believe me now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Ryan, you have something to tell our listeners.
Oh, well, I'm just going to let our listeners know that this is the 20th episode.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you so much for listening. And also, it's been 6 months.
No way.
Since we released, half a year since we released our first 3 episodes. We released 3 off the bat. And it's been pretty cool to see.
Because we wanted to give our listeners content.
Yeah.
It's like really good shows that have 2-hour premieres.
Exactly.
They're not going to be satisfied with 1 hour minus 15 minutes with commercials.
No, because you're holding back.
It's like give the people what they want.
Exactly, which is more Ryan.
Yeah, that's very unlikely. Cheers, Ryan.
Cheers, I know. Here's a cheers. We haven't done a cheers in a while.
It's because I'm always drinking wine and you're always drinking beer. Other than that time I was drinking vodka and you were having water.
No, there was one time. That's true. One time I was drinking vodka, like lemonade or something. And remember I spilled it? What a mess.
You are a mess. But you're my mess. Okay, 20 episodes.
20 episodes. And talk a little bit more about how you have your new mic before we jump into today's episode.
Okay, so shout out to Bethany.
From Blue Snowball Mics.
We really love you. Actually, I want to talk a little bit more than just Bethany. I would like to speak about customer service because I was very impressed. So,
which isn't what the episode's about, by the way.
No, it's not. It's not. But working in a customer service industry myself, I believe the importance of it. And as an active consumer, I really appreciate good customer service. But
give basically,
a long story short, although I'm not very good at that expression, but my mic stopped working. You know, I knew personally that I hadn't put any self-inflicted damage on it. There was no water damage. I hadn't dropped it. You know, I didn't spill my wine on it. And it stopped working. And that was a little bit frustrating because, you know, Ryan and I don't live very close to each other. So when we do plan to meet up and we execute episodes and then we go to record them and there's a technical difficulty issue that you hadn't done yourself, it's frustrating. Anyways, long story short, once again, we messaged Bethany, I guess, from this company
called Blue, and they create the snowball mics.
Yeah, they create the mics that you get to listen to our voices through. And she kind of said, okay, send it back and we'll assess the situation. And if it is something that's wrong on our end, we'll send you a new one. And Ryan actually crafted a very smart email just because he is studying PR, public relations, just kind of explaining in a very diplomatic and respectful way that, you know, it is a bit of an inconvenience for us to go to a post office, wrap it all up with our explanation, to then wait for it to arrive, to then wait for you to assess it, to potentially be turned down or them have to wait for a new one to come.
Yeah.
And customer service 101, she just said, you know what? I completely understand. We'll send you a new one.
I got you.
And it was there within, 2 or 3 days?
Yeah, so shout out to Bethany.
Bethany,
you're awesome.
we love you.
And I also, great customer service. And this isn't sponsored, by the way. Great customer service on their side. My cord was bent a little bit on my mic. Emailed them. They shipped me a brand new one.
You know what? That's how you keep customers, and that's how you gain even more customers because you're satisfied people will refer you. I understand there are some, I'll say, quote unquote, cheap people out there that want to get anything for free. But there's also some honest people out there that, my microphone actually just broke without making my life very difficult. She resolved the situation. So for the first time in weeks, I'm now looking at Ryan instead of him sitting on me because we don't have to share a mic.
You know what's funny, though? Just before we jump into this topic, because I'm really excited about this topic, is while we were getting set up, Katie Jones handed me the old microphone, and the whole time for an hour, we were trying to figure out why this brand new mic that just got shipped to us wasn't working. Oh, I reset my computer.
I was like, you should reset. Maybe it needs updates.
I do software updates for like 35 minutes. And then it turns out I go, Katie, you know what? Let's just try the old mic and see if it works. Plug it in. It literally,
Ta-da!
it was the new mic just sitting there, and Katie handed me the old one.
Ryan handed himself the old one. They'll never know the truth because this is audio, but it was Ryan's fault completely. So, Ryan, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about our dream weddings and also just wedding etiquette.
And very typical dream weddings because there's lots of different ones.
Yeah. This feels kind of weird. Like, we haven't recorded in a couple weeks because I was in Vancouver and then you were sick. So we had some backup episodes that went up. So, like, it just feels like, I mean, is it going to be like riding a bike? Like, are we just going to get back into it, do you think?
Also, before I answer your question, another thing we haven't spoken about, listeners, please let us know your opinion on this because Ryan and I have kind of toyed back and forth with this. When we're recording these episodes, we want a lot of different things for our portfolio and a lot of different things that we can talk about so that we remain interesting to different types of viewers. But put your hand up if you think that when we are doing our kind of love and sex and dating topics that they are more interesting to listen to. It is more the Ryan and Katie situation instead of when we get a bit more serious. We want to know your feedback because we don't want to just have dating kind of conversations run our podcast, but
if people aren't into it, but if they're into it,
exactly. And when we listen back, we're like, okay, that was a good episode, but we just thrive more as a couple and as a duo when we talk about
as a couple.
Well, okay, weddings are, like, in my opinion, the closest similarity you have to religion and culture. Like, if you are born and raised in a certain environment, you follow suit when it's like time to get married.
Yeah.
Like if you're raised and born in a certain religious situation, you will follow suit for the most part, right?
Yeah, I think it's very traditional in a way, and some people nowadays aren't even getting married, and we're not going to focus on that for this episode. But I'm more wanting to start off and see, I agree that it's like kind of a traditional thing. I want to see, like, if you could describe your dream wedding, what would that be, Katie Jones?
Well, I think I briefly spoke about this in another episode. Just, I guess.
Yeah, that you want to be barefoot, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have always been a pretty low maintenance social person. So don't get me wrong. I like putting on a really beautiful outfit with maybe a really nice pair of high heels. Ryan almost just spilled beer all over my floor. I appreciate the finer things in life to a degree, but I was also raised in a small kind of country hometown, I guess. So as you get older, your wants and needs and desires, I guess, they evolve, and sometimes they may drastically change. I have never wanted a big wedding. I'm an only child. I'm not religious, so the whole church aspect of it was never appealing to me personally. Nothing against it, but coming from what I would want. And yeah, being an only child, I don't have the world's largest family. So I knew I've always known that I want to have a smaller wedding. As I get older, and now I am living even farther north in way more of a country situation, yeah, I want a nice backyard. Shout out to Tony. I won't say his last name.
Oh, who's Tony?
He's a regular where I work, and he's just like was showing me these photos the other day of his like newly landscaped big property.
Oh.
And they have like this, eavestrough is not the right word.
No, it's like a gazebo.
Kind of thing.
Right? Yeah.
And I said to him, and my boyfriend was actually there at the pub having dinner, but I said to him, I was like, oh, that's where Bleep and I could get married. And he said, that's exactly what Bleep just said to me.
Okay, when you say Bleep, you've literally mentioned your boyfriend's name in a past episode.
Well, you know what? It's all about the flavor I'm savoring. Right now, I'm gonna bleep it.
Flavor I'm savoring.
But basically, like, I want open bar, great music, fantastic food, and at a venue where it's not government run. Like you
Okay.
have to be out by
Okay.
1:30 or something. So in someone's backyard. And I do want to wear a really nice dress
She
and
wants
be
to be out till
barefoot.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
So you want to be barefoot and it's in a nature setting.
Yeah.
With like little stumps as like the seats and stuff like that.
No, I would like seats.
Oh, you want actual seats? Okay.
Sorry, guys, you have to sit on tree logs.
No, I think that'd be kind of cute.
I mean, maybe, I guess. I don't know. I just, like I said, I love to eat.
Yeah.
I love to drink.
Yeah.
I love to be social. I love to dance. I appreciate music. So I want all of those factors to be fantastic, potentially flawless. You know, I want
Yeah.
really good food.
Yeah, fair enough.
And really good music that
Yeah, and
every
good
song
drinks.
people are like, yeah, like they keep dancing. You know, I've been to some not so fun weddings, and no judgment, but they were not so fun. But yeah, I want bare feet.
Like bohemian kind of style or what?
I know when I say bare feet, it kind of alludes to bohemianism.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. Like I kind of do want flowers in my hair and no shoes. So maybe that is a bohemian style, but I'm not bohemian. If that makes any sense?
Yeah.
Like my lifestyle and the way I dress and maybe even the way I carry myself would not follow under being like a bohemian person. But
Fair
the
enough.
aspect of like my big day, yeah, maybe so. Anyways, what about you?
I think it could go either one of two ways. There's a piece of me that doesn't really think I'd want to do a big wedding, but knowing me, you'd start counting up all the people that you want to invite, and then all of a sudden it's a big wedding. So if I was going to do a bigger wedding, I think I would do something like that in nature.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You say counting the people that you would want to invite. Are those the people that you think it's raining?
No, I saw like a bug fly past you in the background,
Oh.
and it looked like a mini bird. Like that's how big it was.
That's
So
gross.
I think it's behind you by the light. So that's why I gave like the wide-eyed look.
It's actually raining outside again. But no, so when you say you want to, like you're going down the list and it keeps growing,
Yeah.
is that like a list of people you've known and encountered with like over the years? Are those like more your Instagram followers?
No. It wouldn't be my Instagram followers. They can see it on the story and stuff. Listen, it would be people that have been there through thick and thin.
Would you post about your wedding on your stories the day of?
Okay. So first I'm going to describe my dream wedding.
Right.
So my dream wedding would probably be, if it was a bigger one, would be in the forest with beautiful like twinkle lights and at sunset. So then as we kissed, it's the sunset's just going down.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it would totally be like in some beautiful forest, maybe on a mountain or something. And there's the bug. Look, no, look, you missed it.
Where is it? Oh my God, that's a moth.
I know, but isn't it big?
Moths are huge.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it down your pants.
Oh, that's the most action I've gotten in a couple weeks. No, a couple
Couple
months.
weeks.
I meant to say a couple months.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Ryan's getting more action than he's talking about.
Vancouver was good to me.
Okay, so hold on. Oh.
Oh.
Awesome, by the way. You
Huh?
want to
What'd you
get
say?
married? That's awesome, Vancouver.
No, I'm just messing with people.
So wait, you want to get married in the forest
Okay.
and have your kiss as a sunset?
Yes, this is and maybe even fireworks as we kiss.
Oh
This
my
is-
God, that's so cringy.
This is if we had a big wedding. But and I like how I say we, because this
I was thinking
there
that.
is no we right now, but if there was,
There will be a wee,
now,
Ryan.
if it was a smaller wedding, I literally would go with like 5 people from my side. Well, that's most of my family. Okay, if my whole family was coming, it would be probably like 10 on my side and 10 on his side, and we'd go to Hawaii. We would go to Maui, and my parents got married in Maui, actually. My dad won a trip through his sales job because he was doing so well, and he wanted to marry my mom anyways, and he's like, let's go to Hawaii and get married there. And literally it was like them and their best friends. And no family, no nothing. And they asked the family before, and they were supportive of it. They basically eloped.
That's cool.
And I kind of like that. I mean, I think I'd want to bring like 10 close friends because I would want to experience it with them. But literally, Hawaii,
Yeah.
and it would be like a weekend.
I totally get that.
And then
See,
we would stay for a honeymoon, and everyone would go home for.
I'm a little bit more in the middle. You're kind of like one extreme to the other. Like I will never have a big wedding. I've never ever wanted it, like I said. But I also want more than 15 to 20 guests. I think like
So how many?
I don't know because I'm not planning a wedding, and I know like anything, you think you have a few errands to run and you start writing them down and you have way more than you thought you did.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine like a wedding would be like this. And like, well, if I invite this person, so I know that it grows probably substantially. Yeah, that's a moth.
That's a huge moth.
It's not a
Where'd it
huge
go?
moth. It's a moth. It's
Should you kill it?
No, it's right. Did I kill it?
No, should we?
No. Moths don't do anything.
They eat your clothes.
Kill it.
Some don't they? Some clothes.
But
don't
like
they
if
eat wool
I
or
had,
something
if I
or
had to like
cotton or...
ballpark it, which again is really hard because I've never sat down with a pen and paper and done this, but I don't know, maybe like 60, and that's both parties' sides
So
included.
30 each.
Roughly, yeah.
So would I be there?
No. Of course, you would probably be my ring bearer. Or my flower girl. I haven't decided. But okay, so I was talking to Ryan about this before we started recording. Obviously, like from culture to culture, there are just different practices in terms of weddings. And, like a lot of different cultures, they'll have two separate weddings if both people that are getting married are from the same background. You see that a lot in like Hindu marriages and Muslim marriages. Like they'll kind of respect and appreciate both, so they'll have separate weddings. But I work with this one man that's Sri Lankan, and I was talking to him about marriages the other day, and he said that on average, not little or not no more, there's about 600 people that attend a wedding. So whether it's your daughter's wedding or it's your brother's wedding, there's about 600 people. And he said it happens in 2 weekends. So like the first weekend will be the marriage.
Yeah.
And then the second weekend will be like the reception. So those 600 people go both weekends, which means that much more food. You have to pay for the venue all over again. If you get married at a venue, I think you would have to if you have 600 people. Everything. Whereas if you had one wedding one night, would be insanely expensive, but you go all in. But imagine doing the whole thing over again.
Oh, it'd be draining.
It's so interesting that like there's just so many different types of love out there, and then there's so many different types of ways to get married. Yeah.
Well, another topic that I want to touch on, and I actually heard it on, I believe it was on Virgin Radio 99.9 in Toronto, and they brought up a really interesting point about how nowadays...
Virgin Radio.
Yeah, I love that. Virgin Radio. Oh. No.
Stick with mine.
Virgin Radio.
Virgin Radio.
Oh, that sounds really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot better than yours. You suck.
Excuse me. So again, we're just open audition for anyone who wants to be my co-host.
What? He's lying.
No. I love you. No. Anyways. So anyways, they were talking about something really interesting, which is that nowadays there are actually people that are stipulating for all guests coming to their wedding that you cannot take photos on your camera or on your phone. And the whole idea of it is, and we're going to discuss our opinions on it, and also we're going to discuss whether we would post on our stories, because I have opinions on that. I know you asked about that earlier. People spend thousands of dollars on a photographer. Beautiful wedding photographer that does retouching and makes everyone look beautiful and takes some really artistic shots, right? All of a sudden now there's people, and they were talking about this on the radio, there's people on Snapchat, on Instagram, storing it, adding filters, adding stickers onto it, adding GIFs onto it. It's kind of ruining the vibe a little bit. Now, I can understand that people want to capture the moment. However, why am I hiring a photographer to capture the moment?
These people don't want to capture the moment. The only people that want to capture the moment are the immediate family, the mother of the bride, the father of the bride, the sister of the bride, whatever.
You think?
Everyone else that is putting it up on their Instagram or their Snapchat is to show all of their followers how much fun they're having that evening.
Okay. Yeah. I could see that.
Because I understand, like, if I were to go to a wedding using social media now, I would put something on my story for sure, because I like to share. That's the whole point of it, what you're doing in that moment. But people that go to events, because any of our listeners know, as well as you, Ryan, how much extreme social media frustrates me. But like, let's say you go to a wedding, or you're on a cruise, or whatever, sure, put one or two things up. Sorry, if someone came to my wedding and their story was like maybe 20 different slides, like, were you at my wedding or were you on your phone showing people you were at my wedding?
No, but then again, when you just mentioned that, I can kind of see the flip side. Because at first I was totally on the side of why am I hiring a photographer? But then it's like, if you create this beautiful aesthetic, wouldn't you want people sharing it? With your own hashtag and everything?
To an extent. No, well, I went to a wedding.
They all have their own hashtags now.
The last wedding I went to was the first wedding I'd ever been to where there was a hashtag, shout out Torty if you listen to this, I'm not sure. And that was very cool. But that was also a few years ago where I don't know, but I don't think people were abusing it. Sure, go to a wedding, take a picture with the bride and the groom. Take a picture of the beautiful meal that you're eating, something. That's in my eyes, and my eyes are always right, but whatever. But do not spend your entire evening, like, you can't have a drink or a dance or anything without recording it. You are, in my opinion, merely trying to show everyone else how much fun you're having instead of actually having fun.
It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. It's like you want them to live in the moment. I think as the groom, I would want to post stories about my wedding. Now, I think that I would do it after the wedding. And what's interesting is that my friend recently, what she did was her and a bunch of people went to Iceland together and they celebrated, I think it was like 40 or 50 people did the wedding in Iceland. And then they held a hometown celebration of the wedding here so that anyone that wasn't going to Iceland could still celebrate. I appreciated that because I went to the hometown one and it was awesome. And she still wore the dress and people did speeches and it was really fun. It wasn't a traditional like, priest or minister or whoever officiating it at the front.
Yeah.
It was more just a celebration. Now, what she did was they had the photos from Iceland up on a big screen. And shout out to Kiri. I don't know if you're listening, but your wedding photos were beautiful. And she then posted a story, literally, of probably, I would say, like 30 different slides. But it was the whole wedding on Instagram from the photographer's perspective.
And it was after
the wedding. But it's
totally different.
It told a story though. It was like, I remember it was like when this happened, I'm probably going to totally flop at describing this, but she was literally like, I remember when this happened and when we were rehearsing this and when it didn't go as planned. And then when we had that beautiful moment.
Yeah, see,
like every slide had a story.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that too.
50 slides to your story after the fact.
Yeah.
Be at your wedding.
Yeah.
Be at your best friend or your cousin or your brother's wedding. Be there.
Yeah.
And then post something after or post something at the moment. But please do not go to something that's important, like a wedding or a concert or a birthday or something that holds like value to you and spend the entire time changing the filters and making sure you got your good angle and for you to go check who viewed it first, who viewed it last, who didn't view it, that's not why you were there. You're not at that wedding to see how many people are watching your story. Okay,
so another topic that I want to touch on with weddings was destination weddings. Now, when I was younger, I always thought, and I guess this was me being kind of naive, but, I was younger.
You're still naive?
Meaning... Yeah, I was gonna say younger, meaning like 2 weeks ago. I always thought destination weddings were paid for by the groom and the bride or like the two partners or whatever. I always thought that when people went to destination wedding, it was all paid for. That's not even the case.
No, it's not. Literally, you have to buy your own airfare.
You have to buy your own everything, and people go through travel agents and stuff. And like I've looked at some of them, and the packages are way more than what you would pay. Like my friend just paid $1,200 for like 4 days in Mexico or something, and because it includes all the costs associated with the wedding. And it's like, at that point, are you just getting other people to pay for your destination wedding? I can see why people do it. I'll probably end up doing it if I go to Hawaii. I just feel as though you have to go into with understanding that certain people won't be able to make it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like I've heard of, I remember there was a story that went viral, and if I'm remembering it correctly, the woman was getting pissed on Facebook, ranting about how people don't want to go to her destination wedding, and I can't remember where it was, but it was like $3,000 each person to go. and people were telling her that they didn't want to go. And she basically said that, well, you're not supporting my dream wedding. This is supposed to be my moment.
See, that's so selfish. Fantastic if you have the money or you have the plans and desires to get married somewhere tropical, exotic, warm, whatever. But there are people, I mean, I know a couple that just went away to see the man's daughter get married.
Yeah.
The couple that went there from a second marriage now. But her kids couldn't go because they, they're in their 30s or whatever. They have young children. So I don't know how to put this without being confusing, but basically one side of the family couldn't go and see the other side of the family get married in Mexico or something because they have responsibilities, they have young kids, and it's expensive. So if that's ever the case, I would really hope that the people that are getting married wouldn't hold that against them.
And do you have to still get them a gift?
Do you? I don't
feel like
know.
No. The guy that I talked to that's going on this destination wedding, and they're planning now in the summer for next January, he told me that no. Like, you're not getting a gift. If you're spending $1,200 to go there for a couple of days for a wedding, you don't get a gift. But, like,
not to mention,
some people would, though.
Yeah, but not to mention, unless you have an incredible wardrobe or you maybe don't care as much or whatever, you're also probably buying your outfits.
No, you do.
And earrings to match your dress and heels to match your dress and earrings. And
sometimes
you get
to choose, though. Sometimes those dresses or the tuxedos are picked for you.
At destination, like if
I don't know about destination weddings, but probably because in the pictures you want them to all match.
Yeah, but that's for like bridesmaids and stuff.
Oh, so they didn't even have bridesmaids.
I think maybe her daughter and her best friend were her bridesmaids, but yeah, it was mainly just kind of guests that she had known for a long time. It was a small wedding. I mean, maybe 15, 20 people, which isn't small for destination, but small in general.
Yeah.
But they are expensive because even if you're not going somewhere that's all-inclusive, we didn't. So every drink, every meal, everything you have to pay for.
Oh, that's not fair.
And the flight there and the outfit that you're going to wear and all of that stuff. So
you got to do an all-inclusive. You got to. I feel like at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what about the whole idea that now some people do all of these events leading up to weddings as basically business objectives or business as like basically these parties in advance of the wedding become events to fundraise for their actual wedding. Because I know someone like that where every event, stag and doe, bachelor, bachelorette party, other celebrations leading up to the wedding are just paying for the actual wedding.
I just find that whole concept so outdated, to be completely honest. Don't get me wrong, a bachelor and bachelorette party sounds fun. I wouldn't do the whole stripper thing. Again, I also find that outdated. But those are more like, it's a party.
Yeah.
But the stag and doe and I can't even remember all the other names because in my opinion, what I've always considered those to be was years ago when couples were getting married much younger, 19, 20, and they didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they were young, so anything could help. But I'm sorry, if you're 31 with 2 full-time working adults, why do I need to come to your tacky stag and doe and spend money on tickets to pin the tail on the donkey so you have more money toward your wedding? You're 30-something years old, or even a successful 28-year-old. We're not 20 anymore. Those times have changed. Women work. Women get pregnant later. Couples have children later than they used to. I don't know. I just find it outdated. And I don't like going to them. I just kind of think you're two fully working together people. Like, why are you having all these events to collect money for your wedding? If you can't afford it, have a smaller one.
The only way that I could see it justifiable is if you're really close, like family, if you have a big family or something like that. I mean, then it's kind of still unfair because it's like...
Yeah, but you also hear about there are certain events like stag and does and stuff that you're invited to, but you're not invited to the wedding.
Oh my goodness,
so
what?
So maybe they'll phrase it as like, okay, the wedding is really expensive and we can only invite so many people, so you can't come to that, but you're more than welcome to come to our shower or...
Yeah.
I feel like I've said stag and doe a million times because that's when you can have more people and you're getting money from it.
And does that money go towards the wedding?
Yeah.
So you're paying for the wedding that you can't even attend.
You're still having a great time because you're partying and you're hanging out with the bride and the groom, which are most likely your friends.
For sure. That's a good point.
And so it's a good night.
It is a good night.
It's a good night, but you're not invited to the wedding. But
well, you know what? I don't know if I'd really care. It's like how big of a deal it is if you're invited to the wedding. But I guess it's more the idea behind it. Like, okay, you're invited to the party before, but you're not invited. You're invited to the but you're not invited to the main party.
Exactly.
You know, and you know what? I think that's kind of unfair. I mean, you know what? It's not even justifiable with family doing all these parties, in my opinion, because I think that, like, yeah, they want to support you, but, like, you know, what if some of them are going just because they feel pressured to go because of your family? However, if you throw a really awesome party that brings everyone together, then maybe it's justifiable to spend the $100 for the night or whatever, because it's a night out. It's a date night for you and your spouse.
Yeah, or
whatever.
It's a good time seeing friends.
And there's performances. Like, you know what? I'd have drag queens. If I was going to do an event like that, or maybe even my wedding, I think I'll have drag queens performing.
That would be awesome, and I can't wait to go to your wedding.
Yes.
You're invited to mine as well.
You're invited to mine too. And I just want to end this episode by saying, if you're okay with that, are you okay with ending the episode here?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've... I mean, really, there's so many things you can talk about, but I think that we hit the main ones on the head. Right, Gracie?
I just want to end the episode by saying that you're literally holding your original fur baby in your hands right now. And I noticed recently you had tweeted out a picture of your other fur baby. Can we mention that from Gracie? Or
of course.
Yeah, you have a kitty fur baby that is now how old?
Oh, Lucy is probably about 8 months old now.
And, you know, you're basically a mom to her.
To him. Lucy's a boy.
To him. But she started as a girl. When you introduced me to Lucy, she was a girl.
Yes, she was.
Okay, I'm sorry. I need to get the pronouns right.
No, that's okay. Everybody thinks that Lucy's a girl because his name is Lucy. But he's not. He's my little boy. Yeah, he's about 8 months old now.
Aww.
I love him because he's my first... I'm an animal lover.
He's so cute.
He's so cute. Anyone that knows me knows I love animals, but I never had cats growing up because my mom's deathly allergic, although she loves them. So I always had dogs, but again, they were always my parents' dogs, mainly my mom's dog. And Lucy is my first animal that's mine. He is my responsibility. He's my cat. He's my baby. So there's just so much pride and stuff that comes with it. So Gracie is in my arms and I love her to death, but Gracie is my mom's
and she's
baby.
A dog, by the way. All right, well, thank you for listening to our 20th episode.
How fantastic. We should cheers to that, Ryan.
We should cheers to that because
congratulations to 20 years.
To 20 years.
Congratulations to 20 episodes, and also cheers to all the previous work we've done in the past. And to another 20 episodes.
We've known each other for 5 years. Can you believe it?
Yes. We've been annoying you consistently for 5 years. Cheers, guys. We appreciate it.
Love you.
Love you.
Cheers.
Oh, my phone.
Oh, no. Get it off your phone. The beer went on her phone. Oh,
my God.
It was a beer or wine. It was
wine.
wine. So we can blame Katie. Anyways, bye, guys. Love you.
Bye. Oh my God, am I gonna have water damage? Is it gonna be broken forever? Oh my God.